Hi, this is Pat Pattison in Los Angeles, California.
And hi, this is Jacqui Harper in Yorkshire in the UK.
And Jacqui, we're going to talk about presence. And when I think of presence, I think of people like Michelle Obama, Steve Jobs. Who do you think of?
You know, I think of right now, I'm thinking of Jacinda Ardern, and that might not be a name that everyone recognizes, but really, you know, they should. She's the Prime Minister of New Zealand, and she has responded to the COVID crisis with the most magnificent presence.
And when we think of presence, I mean, it's just this intangible, not necessarily charisma, but everybody has a presence. What we're going to talk about today is we're going to help people take a presence audit. And this is going to be a part of our series, 2 coaches, 2 continents.
One new life audit with Pat Pattison and Jacqui Harper.
There you go.
Now, Pat, before we go on, can I give you a little gift?
Oh, I'd love that. What? It's not even my birthday.
I know it's not your birthday, but this is a special rose. Can you see this rose?
Yes, that's gorgeous. What is that?
It is a white rose. And believe it or not, this rose is an ancient symbol. It's a symbol of the county of Yorkshire. Yorkshire is where I live. It's a place I love. Since the 14th century, it's been an ancient symbol of Yorkshire, and it still is today.
That's amazing. I have that somewhere in the back of my mind. That is such an amazing thing. Thank you. Well,
for you.
back at you.
Okay.
Here is the California grizzly bear mug. And the grizzly bear, which unfortunately we've hunted to extinction here in California. There's a symbol, but I have brown bears all in my neighborhood here in Los Angeles because we're kind of in the hills. But is a symbol of the Republic of California. Fortunately, don't have any of these around, but I still have a lot of brown bears in the area that come down. So cheers. Here's to you.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah, that's such an amazing thing that we're doing this together. So when we're talking about a presence audit, this is your specialty out of your book, executive presentations, and you help coach executives on deciding what their presence is and helping them do aspirational things. So tell me a little bit about how you do that, Jacqui.
Yeah, so what is presence first? When I'm working with people, because there are so many different definitions, I try to make it as practical as possible. For me, it's how people experience us. So it's what they feel about us, what they hear us saying, and also, you know, what they see, the appearance, the visual thing. And really, if you have those 3 pillars, you can start to develop aspects of presence. I'm going
to interrupt you because I should mention that the slides that we're showing as a part of this, people will be able to get at the end of the talk. We'll give out our contact information at the end of the show.
Yeah, I'm so excited because I will be sharing some of my tips for building presence. The tip sheet that I'm putting together is more for virtual presence. At the moment, everybody's online. So I thought that was most relevant to what people might find helpful. But we'll tell them all about that a bit later.
That's right. So in terms of the audit that you do, tell me a little bit about, what are the stages of finding out your own presence? When I think of presence, I think of Pam McLean, who runs the Hudson Institute. And even though a small stature woman, she exudes a presence when she walks into a room of confidence, integrity, authenticity. So isn't the way she's dressed or anything, it's just there. And so, you know, I know what you bring into your workshops and whatnot is an assessment of what we already have. So walk us through that.
Yeah, sure. So do you know what? I'd like to call on a very famous lady to help me explain the process. And you've already mentioned her, Michelle Obama, fabulous Michelle Obama. When I think of Michelle Obama, she's just a very big presence. And I think of her, I think of 3 words. I think she's authentic. I think she's capable. And there's an element of vulnerability, and I just want to kind of explain what I mean by that. So the authentic piece, she is such a real person, even though I've never met her, only seen her on TV, that she's the kind of person I'd love to have a coffee with. I would feel comfortable in her presence. There's something very real and very honest about her presence. Obviously, she's a capable woman. She's been a really successful lawyer. She's also been a very, very high profile and effective first lady, and latterly as an author, incredibly successful. So highly capable. And then the last one is interesting, vulnerable, and I wouldn't have said that about Michelle Obama necessarily if I hadn't read her book, Becoming, because you start to see that, her presence, which is fabulous, and many times when she's speaking and when she's being first lady, actually a lot of those times she was quite anxious and very unsure of herself. And that in her vulnerability, actually that makes her even more someone that is inspiring, somebody that you can connect to.
And I know you have the experience of somebody giving you a presence on it. So tell us a little bit about that story.
Oh, yes. It's a fun story. I love this story so much. It involves a member of the British royal family. It's actually Prince Harry, who's at your side of the pond these days. He's not with us anymore. We want him back. What happened with
Michelle Obama is our royal family now. So there's just different royals and different
royalty.
Different
So what happened was I was invited to host a conference in the city of Leeds on mental health, and he was our special guest. So, I got to meet him for a couple minutes beforehand. It wasn't just me. There were a few others there. But I got the sense of this chap who's just so likable. But he's also, he's quite shy, which I wasn't sure if I was surprised by that or not.
Right.
But the significance of the conference for me was afterwards, the organizers said to me, Jacqui, thank you so much. We really appreciate what you did. And they said, your presence, we really liked your presence. And they described me as confident, professional, and warm. And there was something about those three words when I saw it on the email that just bounced back at me. That's how I want to show up, whether it's on a podcast, in class when I'm teaching, on a conference call, online meeting, whatever. Those three words are my presence audit. And I take them everywhere, and I really do. And there's something, the power of presence, we talked about Pam, the wonderful Pam McLean, is in the consistency of presence. And what I'm trying to get people to be is a bit more intentional. You've got a presence anyway. You can be intentional about how you show up. So can I just tell people how they might do that?
Walk us through those stages. And I want to mention again, we'll be able to get you this information at the end of the show. We will give you our information to contact Jacqui and get all this. So go for it.
Yeah, so we sure will provide you with info afterwards. So what I get people to do when I'm teaching is to think about your last call or your last meeting. It could have been today, it could have been yesterday, whatever, doesn't matter, but very recent. And to reflect on what your presence was like in that meeting or on that call. And I get people to kind of create a word bank. So put lots of words on a page, one word adjectives that could describe your presence in the meeting. I also encourage people to get some input from other people. So think about what other people at that call or in that meeting what words they might use to describe your presence at that time. So that's part one. Where are we now?
Who would be the right people? I mean, I know some people would say avoid your family because they have kind of a preconceived idea of you and like to have. I mean, is it only professional people? What's your recommendation?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking here of it could be in the professional space for sure. I do a lot of work there, but I'm also thinking, community groups. It doesn't have to be all uber corporate. And I think getting feedback from family can be helpful because they see a side of us that people maybe in our working lives don't see. So I
Okay.
would encourage a number of people that know you quite well, in your private life and in your sort of working life as well. And it might be, it's always interesting what comes back. People are always surprised because we've all got blind spots. We don't see
Yeah.
some of the
And
things.
you and I share a background in broadcast television, so we're also getting input from viewers and from people that, so there are things that come at you that are words that seem to repeat themselves about your presence. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So get the feedback about now, but really we want to move people forward and be intentional and be consistent and develop their presence. So, look forward to that fabulous future, your future self, when you are really firing on all cylinders and your presence is wonderful. What are the words that would describe you in that space? And again, think about what other people might say and ask other people, what you could be if you lean into your best self, what that would look like. And so you just brainstorm all these words and you play around with them until you kind of settle on three that really just say something about how you want to be all of the time.
Right.
And so for some people, this might take a while, actually, Pat. Some people, a bit like me, I was scampering around for ages, and then accidentally it was sent to me. But some people do it straight away. They already know, and we're all different. So however you get there, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and certainly our own ideas of ourselves and how we present versus the way we actually come across.
Exactly. It's a perception gap, and really you want to narrow that gap if possible, so that you come across in the way that you intend. And I think that what you need to do once you've got this wonderful bit of data, these three words, is to embody them, be them. So when people meet you, when they get an email from you, when they're talking to you on the phone, they get a sense, they feel those qualities because you're embodying them. And you do that with different things. When I was at the BBC, before I got let loose as a news anchor, I had voice training. My voice training was from, he was an existing broadcaster, a veteran broadcaster, as they say. And he taught me things like how to breathe effectively so you can get vocal energy and you can sound authoritative, really working on your voice.
Well, and I know you have these three areas, which we'll show here on the screen. Walk us through those three areas that you.
Yeah. So once you've got a clear idea about how you want people to feel about you, that kind of goes in your first column, how people feel. And then you need to look at, part of your presence is what they're hearing. And so voice, like I just said, is part of that. Work your voice. It's not that easy to improve your voice. There's stuff in my book, exercises, there's tons of stuff out there on the internet. And look at language. The language of leadership is really interesting. The patterns that we use to speak, how engaging we are, how compelling our message is, and how clear it is. That's part of what people hear. And the third column is what people see, its appearance. And I go back, my TV days really shaped how I learned about developing presence, because the first thing you get going on set is BBC Wardrobe come and have a chat with you, and they look at you and they're looking to see your size and shape, which is not the most comfortable moment. But they're looking at getting colors that work for you, for your skin color and for the set. They're also looking at styling you. I was a news anchor, so it's quite smart, quite professional in terms of what they were trying to achieve. And then the big thing is grooming, Pat. You can actually be quite casually dressed, but with grooming, with makeup and hair, you can just look so professional. Big tip I got from a makeup artist. Can I share?
Sure.
Yeah. She said, if you haven't got time to do a lot of makeup, you got 5 minutes, just concentrate on defining your eyes. So get the brows tidy, a little bit of shadow or eyeliner for the eyes, and masses of mascara. And if you just define the eyes, you actually look far more made up than you are.
That's great. And I have a tip for the men being on television, is that they they will maybe have a tendency of, oh, I don't want to be vain, and I don't, So Jacqui, I have a simple tip for the men, and that is what I call the shirt test. They have a shirt that they wear that they always get commented on, and that usually has to do with the color. For me, it's this teal and blue, because that shows you off the best. So when I'm working with my agents and I'm doing acting auditions, this tends to be the palette that I operate in, and
That's a
not
great tip.
no busy patterns, no distractions. So very important, very simple tools that can define both the online digital presence, but the in-person presence. So those are great tips.
Yeah. And when you know you look good, it does help you to feel confident. It does make a difference. It does create presence.
So when you do these workshops with executives, and to remind people, it's Executive Presentations is your book. What are the challenges? What are the obstacles?
Yeah. So, well, some is the blind spots where people think that they don't need me, or they're quite resistant to having coaching in this area, communication coaching. So you spend
because they have a staff that's told them they're great all the time because they're paying them to tell them that.
And they're too afraid to tell them, so they bring me in. So I get it in the neck. But you really have to work on building people's trust, showing what you can do, and just winning them over, and really coaching. How we met was through coaching. Coaching's fabulous for creating the opportunities for development and learning. And I lean heavily on my coaching skills when there's resistance, and there often is, and people are not comfortable. If communication training, coaching, communication coaching, people just get anxious.
Sure.
When I arrive.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, you and I again met at the Hudson Institute and found about our TV backgrounds, and that's why we came up with this idea of these life audits. But Jacqui, we're going to do 10 of these life audits, some of it based on your book, Executive Presentations, some of it based on my upcoming book, Creative U-Turn. But tell me a little bit about your life transformation when you made the decision to get into something new.
Yeah. So TV was wonderful, but there's a time and a place for everything. And by the time I wanted to get out of television, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. But I think as a child, I always wanted to be a teacher. And there's something, you just bounce back to your early years. And there was something about helping people to develop their potential that just makes me really excited. And so I was already doing executive training, and I felt there was something else needed, because I was doing, I'd see someone for a day or a couple of days. And, sometimes 6 months, 12 months later, I see them again, and I would do the same thing. And there was something fabulous about coaching, because you're with someone for 3 months, 6 months, maybe longer. And the depth of change and transformation that you can achieve is wonderful. So really, for me, the turning point was joining that Hudson program, recommended by a friend.
I was there at the beginning.
I know. And it was for me, being at Hudson was amazing. And I'm quite a confident person. I must be, because of the things I've done and I do. But I think when I really took a look at myself, quite a deep look on the Life Forward program, that I saw that some of that confidence was quite superficial. And it was wonderful for me to find something that was much more of a foundation, much more solid. It was really exciting, actually. I felt like, whoa, my jazz mode had arrived, and it just opened up possibilities.
That's awesome. And it's a perfect segue to the fact that that's what this new life audit that we're doing a series of is going to be, how they can transform their lives in these 10 areas. Jacqui, thanks for this information. Give out your website that they can go get the information from.
Yeah, I'm very happy for people to just find me on LinkedIn if that's easier for them, because it's got all my details, the website and the email address. But my website is execpresentations.com.
Execpresentations.com. Right. For people that are just listening and not watching this, And then for me, the information is just patpattison.net. And so what a great first audit. And I feel like, but there's one thing we haven't done. You
Oh, what's
haven't
that?
made my audit.
Oh, yes, true. How did we forget that?
What do we see here? I'll just perk up here and try to sit up straight.
Are you ready for this, Pat?
I got the right colors on, so fire away.
You look fabulous. You know, I find you funny. I mean, you just have a lovely humor, which is disarming. And I think the other quality that's connected to it is how engaging you are. You know, you really are in your storytelling, in your warmth. And I think the third one, I'm playing around with the two words. So one is compassionate, but quite soulful. I mean, I think I could use either of those words. You know, you are somebody that is compassionate. You know, there's a big soul there, and it's great. I'm a fan.
I'll take those. Well, back at you. So it's Pat Pattison over in Los Angeles, California, and
Jacqui Harper in Yorkshire in the United Kingdom.
So stay tuned for more of Two Coaches, Two Continents.
And one new life audit with Pat and Jacqui.
Great. Talk to you soon.